Hey everybody! You guys, it is cold and the forecast is predicting more cold. Look at those clouds. So I wanted to quickly get my garden on video. There's already some damage due to frost and cold because it actually started last night. I looked up the 10-day forecast and it's going to be more of the same these next 10 days. And who knows beyond. So tonight we're gonna be getting into the 20s. You can see it's already taking a toll on my garden. Let's see, the high today was supposed to be 52, but I think it only got up to like 46 degrees today. So I just wanted to show you what this looks like now, because it's not gonna look like this in the next week or so. It's gonna look pretty raunchy. Look at this, my scarlet runner beans, they're already just giving up just that first night. And this is spaghetti squash. I don't know how it's gonna do. I guess we'll find out. It looks like it held up pretty good overnight, and it has some squashes that it's forming on there. I don't expect that these beans are gonna do all that great, but there again, I'll just have to wait and see. Wait it out. This is those Kentucky. Oh, I have some on here. Oh my goodness. This is the first ones. These are Kentucky Wonder pole beans. I don't know how they're gonna stand up against this weather, but I have beans on there. I mean, I've seen the flowers on there and stuff, but I didn't see any beans yet. And now I have beans. Cool. And these sugar snaps, I've been watching these closely because the kids and I always fight over these sugar snap peas. Now, was it yesterday I went through and I harvested a lot of these tomatoes off of here, because as you can see, there's tons of tomatoes on this plant. Everywhere you look, there's tomatoes. I tried to get the ones that were starting to ripen and take them inside in case the frost got to them, but they held up pretty good last night. I guess I'll just leave them be. I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about that one. I got someplace to be in the next half hour. So I just wanted to come out here real quick and look at this stuff with you guys, but now I'm thinking I better take some time and get some of these tomatoes in case the frost gets super bad. I don't want them to get damaged or destroyed, right? Anyways, let's see, let me go up here. So over here, this is my first kohlrabi, you guys, that I've grown. I planted some before and they just didn't take off, but this one is actually forming a base. So I don't know, seeing that kohlrabi is part of the cabbage family, it's a brassica, I figure maybe it will be okay. But already these other beans just from last night are suffering. This turnip green though is doing good still. Look at that. And this beet right here is doing good. I predict they'll do okay. I don't think anything will happen with them, but some of these other items that I have here are gonna start. You guys, my pomegranate tree is just a little lighter today. Because I don't know if you remember that real big one that was hanging right here. I had a family gathering and everybody wanted pomegranates. And you know, we're family. So I aim to please. I gave some away. I still have a lot and a lot of big ones left, so I think I'm okay. Look at this. These melons, they didn't survive last night's frost. Look at that. This one's barely hanging on. I think tonight's gonna be the end of it. And this pepper too. And it's sad because these peppers were starting to put on flowers. Like on this one had a flower come out too. But some of these peppers had flowers popping out, but oh well. It is what it is. It was an experiment anyways. I'm gonna have to harvest these yams because, or sweet potatoes, because It's not like in the cold either. I guess I'll get to dig down in there and see what I got. I'll try and do that within the next couple of days so that I can bring you guys along with me as I harvest that. This is my problem child bed, and it's still a problem. And there's a lot of tomatoes over here as well. It's just a huge jumbled mess. Oh, there's a big old hornworm right here, and he pooping too. Look at that big old hornworm. I thought right now for sure they'd be done and over with. I guess not. I'm not even gonna mess with them. Usually I'll pull them off and give them to my chickens, but I'm not even gonna bother with him. He's got safe passage since he's Woo. You guys, that was a cold gust of wind. If that hornworm is brave enough to be out here in this cold, then I guess I'll give him an opportunity to survive. Looks like there's probably been more over here, but maybe the birds got all the rest of them. The birds has been doing a real good job of keeping them at bay, so I haven't had to do too much this year. There was one year I had pulled off like 20 or 30 of them in one day. That was just one day. I was like, dang, that was a lot. Look at, there's caution tape that blew into my backyard. Now look, you see this lettuce? This lettuce is doing pretty good, except for it's getting chewed on. I'm thinking by a rodent. And if you look closely down here, you'll see the little stub here, right there. And there was some other little stubs. The booger chewed down all the other lettuce plants that I had on this side, chewed it down to little nubs, and now it's starting to work on this one. So, oh look at, there's a little butterfly on there. Yeah, so I'm having an issue, I guess, with the little mice or rodents. These are my jalapeno peppers. Even though it started growing more, I don't think it's gonna last. It's weighted down with all these jalapenos on there. I'm gonna have to cut them all off, and hey, there's a lot of them. I'm gonna have to cut them all off and take them in the house because I don't want this cold air to destroy them. I really don't. Oh, look at my cayenne peppers are starting to turn red. Look at that one. He's like half green. There's a lot of cayenne peppers on here too. Wow. And I have fish peppers that grew. Let's see if I can get in closer. There's some fish peppers on here as well. I don't know with these peppers how they're gonna hold out. I don't think they're gonna hold out very well. They're like hot weather. You guys, there's nothing hot about this wind. This wind is icy. Oh, and you know, this tomato, this is my Kellogg breakfast tomato. This is my favorite tomato. It never did produce anything. It struggled just to live. I don't think it will, because the frost is going to wipe it out the rest of the way. It already started. Man, I was looking forward to having one of those big old juicy orange tomatoes. I suppose next year I'm just gonna have to make sure that I get them all going and be more successful, especially with that one, since it's my favorite. I took out some of the containers here and I put them in the house because the plants that were in them are frost tender. Look at that potato plant is affected by the frost too. But anyways, it's frost tender, so I took them in the house so they can overwinter in the house. I set up a nice little area for them. Last winter, I was nurturing a pepper plant that a friend gave me inside. I kept it inside, and it actually put out peppers and stuff and bloomed and everything. And it was pretty cool. Now it's a big old huge pepper plant, I want to overwinter it again. And it already has flowers and it's already starting to put on more fruit. So my neighbor called me and asked me if I wanted a hen, because a lady had her and it was just her alone, and she felt bad because she felt she needed more friends. So she offered her to me, and her name is Ginger Ale, because I have a Ginger already, and this one's name was Ginger too. So I said, well, I'll just call her Ginger Ale. At least it's still ginger, right? Whew. Okay, I keep making sounds like that because it's cold. So cold. And you guys, I'm out here in a sleeveless, thin dress that I wore to church today. Because today is Sunday. And I am cold. Okay, so the wind blew all of these containers. We had it all picked up. All these containers, the wind blew it all down over here. We got a glimpse of Thaddeus, my desert tortoise, yesterday as he was going down under the chicken coop. My chicken coop is 2-story. And all my girls live in the top floor of it. And then the bottom floor I had made so that I could have meat birds and keep them separate from my layers. And so anyways, he discovered that area, so he was down in there, and I guess that's where he's gonna choose to overwinter. And Cornelia, she's my other desert tortoise, found her in the shed, and I'm guessing that's where she ended up going back to overwinter. So anyways, you guys, that's what I got for you today. I'll probably get a little more footage tomorrow so you can see what some of the damage is and what's still standing after this cold that we've had. Okay, so for in here, these are my moringa trees I brought in because they're frost tender, to keep them out of the cold. And then over here I brought in my orange tree. It's a navel orange, dwarf orange tree. And then I have a little setup right there so I can put some more plants that I intend to grow indoors. Here's my little gold nugget tomato. It's so full of tomatoes right now. I had to bring them in. Here's that pepper, that poblano pepper. I told you it had a lot of flowers on there already. I've been flicking the flowers. There's some new ones coming out right there of fruit. And some of my other plants, my pineapples. This pineapple look like it's about to just give up. He's just like, I'm done. And this is a lemon that I propagated actually from my lemon tree outside. You guys, that's Misty. I don't have a name for this one yet. That's all puffed up because it's cold. Everybody else is out here walking around. It's just cold right now. These are all my babies that was in the dog crate. They're gonna get put in with the bigger girls really soon. This is the mess that they made on the sidewalk here. They did a good job of scraping all that dirt out. I didn't even notice that there was some more brick under here. I just wanted to bring you guys along and show you what the frost did overnight, and it wreaked havoc. Look at this, you guys. And I had some spaghetti squash growing on here, but that frost just wiped out this whole squash plant and all the beans that was growing on this bed. The only survivors that I have right now are the peas. The peas are doing nicely. These pole beans, they are not faring well. This one isn't. And it had beans on it. And I was so happy to discover this yesterday, that there's actually beans on here. But one day, that's what happened. There's snap peas on here, and they're holding up pretty good under the frost. This tomato, cherry tomato, I'm gonna have to pull all these tomatoes off because I don't think they could take another night of freezing temps and I don't want to lose the actual tomatoes. And then look at this corn. Okay, this side was already dying because I have a water issue on this side. But these guys was doing okay, and now just overnight you can hear the leaves are all dried out and crispy, crunchy. Tomato row took a hit. I'm just gonna take whatever tomatoes I find on here off. Next growing season is gonna be great because I'm about to change up even these boxes that I just installed, and I'm gonna put a harnessing system to tie up my tomatoes so that they don't have to be staked anymore. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to do that over the winter, try and keep myself busy. But I also wanted to show you guys, look at all these pomegranates we got. My sons and I got off of the pomegranate tree. Look at that. And some of these pomegranates are so huge. Look how big that is. It barely fits in my hand. And that's not the biggest. There's another one here that's big too. They're all just humongous. They got this wagon pretty weighted down. It's heavy. Just one of them is heavy. One of those big ones are really, really heavy, but got them off the tree. The leaves are starting to turn yellow. I will be trimming this back so that next spring we'll be ready for some more. I left a couple of them on there still because they're just green. There's that one. I might get that one off a little later. There's one more that's ripe that's on here, but we can't reach it, so I'm gonna have to wait for Mr. Keene to come home and do it. You guys, problem child bed. That frost went through and just got all of these plants, the tomatoes. So I'm gonna be busy digging those out. All my pepper plants too over here. My other bean plants over here. Frost got to all of those ones too. Look at my sweet potatoes. I might have to dig in there and harvest what I can out of there because the frost got to it pretty bad. Misty, she keeps following me around. And then over here, the lettuce did good. And these jalapenos did good. So I'm gonna be pulling these jalapenos off. These guys did pretty good too. They still look good, still look like pepper plants. So I'm not gonna mess with them too much. But yeah. Oh, this plant is just all sad and leaning over now. Yeah, I'm gonna go through and clear out the rest of my beds and make sure that everybody is ready for spring. Look at this. Eating them strawberries. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna plant my onion sets, my garlic sets. I have some flower bulbs I need to plant, and I gotta trim back my basil, and I have to get this tomatoes that I left on the vine here, and it's barely just hanging on. So I'm gonna get that harvested. But there's like tons of other tomatoes on these plants that now is just not gonna happen because of the weather. By the time I get this video edited and ready to go, I'll have pictures of all the harvest for you to see how many sweet potatoes I got and jalapenos and all that good stuff, all the rest of the tomatoes. So we're looking forward to that in the next video. I thank you for watching my videos. I want to say welcome to all the new subscribers. I went up a considerable amount of subscribers, and a lot of you are from the High Desert Ranchers and Farmers group, and a lot of you are from other gardening groups that I'm on. My Baker Creek gardening group, or a lot of you are from the Roots and Refuge Facebook group. And so, I just thank you guys for subscribing and for watching my videos and being interested in the things that I'm putting out. You guys, thank you once again. And if you hadn't already checked out my Instagram, go to my Instagram account, Lakisha Keene Saving Greens, to see current photos of everything. By the time I get these videos out, I'm a little bit behind. So if you go on my Instagram, you'll see stuff right as it's happening. Thank you guys. And as always, God bless. Puffed up because it's cold. Everybody else is out here walking. I'm videotaping.
Sorry.
So